Whatever I can see.
Hello.
Kiran ma'am?
Yeah, Kiran madam is there.
Yes, sir, I'm here. Yes, sir, good afternoon. I'm here.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You can hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello. Ma'am, Oza ma'am is not there.
Oja madam.
She has left now.
So she was there. That's why
She is left. Just confirming. Yeah, just confirming.
I think Bhati sir has joined. Dolly madam has joined.
Yes, I have joined. Can you see me?
Madam,
Can you
welcome.
hear me?
Welcome, madam.
Thank you. Hearty welcome to all of you too.
Good to see you after a very long time.
Yes. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, ma'am. Very clear.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So welcome, Dr. Jitendra.
Thank you. Thank you, Dolly ma'am.
Yes.
Nambiar sir also has joined. Nambiar sir, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Kavita. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you, sir, on this.
I was part of the earlier sessions and it was definitely very informational. So looking forward to being part of this session now. So I think so. We start at 2:10, yeah?
Yes, sir. I think morning there was some issue like joining in the session, I believe. So sorry, sir, for that.
This session has officially started or no? Not yet?
No, not officially yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there is another session going on of capacity building, the program. So
Okay.
I borrowed some time from them and I'm here.
Oh, so you have there also we are going to speak. What time it is the session is?
Yeah, it will start at 3 o'clock. 2:45 to 3.
Okay.
No issues. Yeah, I can be here. No issues. So all the speakers are here, or
No, I think all have not joined.
okay.
Just waiting for 5 to 7 minutes to join everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
How many are registered so far?
We have 600 registration, more than 600 registrations for the conference.
Oh, very good. Dr.
Total number of participants, and approximately 90 are going to present the paper immediately after this panel discussion, and we will have 4 parallel sessions
Okay.
from 3:30 to 5:30.
Very well organized, all three of you. Hearty congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am. I think Varadi madam has also not joined.
Dr. Kavita, I had a question.
Yes, sir.
When you say panel discussion, what is the format of the discussion?
Sir, the floor is open for you, sir, to what you want to say. Ultimately, we want to hear from you your words, sir, on this our theme.
Okay.
No
All right.
particular question, sir. We can't ask any question from you. Rather,
Okay.
we'll be happy to listen from you on that topic.
Thank you. Cheers.
Kavita, we should ask, I think VC sir,
To join?
VC sir wish to join, so we will ask him.
Yeah.
Dolly, hello, Dolly is there.
Yes.
Let us introduce them each other. Dolly?
Yes, I'm here. Dr. K. Bhatti here.
Yeah, Bhatti sir. Hello.
Sir.
How are you?
Yeah, fine sir. You are welcome. Thank you Raj, for joining us again. In morning session, I couldn't see you. That's why I was unable to welcome you. But that's great. You are
No,
here.
no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
Welcome, sir, Bhatti, sir. So,
Thank you, Dr. Kavita. Thank you very much indeed.
thank you, sir, being with us in this afternoon.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure.
हा सर राजचं सेशन आहे आता तुम्ही आता येणार आहेत का
We have Raj Nambiar, sir, from Dubai.
करायचे
Dr. Dolly Sunny from University of Mumbai. We
Okay.
have
हा ठीक आहे फक्त तुम्ही जॉईन झाले म्हणजे राजला दिसतो
Noida.
आणि आम्ही चालू करतो
And Dr. Rashmi Pooja was also there in this session, but due to some her commitment, some meeting.
मी सांगेन ना सर
Before that,
मी वेलकम यू
and in this session, she is not going to join.
कविता सर इज जॉइनिंग डॉली यू कैन हियर अस नो डॉली या चेहरे पे लाइट नहीं आ रहा है आप जरा कैमरा एडजस्ट करो
My camera.
हाँ तुम्हारे चेहरे पे लाइट नहीं आ रहा है अंधेरा
Okay.
दिख हाँ
Now is it clear?
नहीं आपको खिड़की से लाइट आ रहा है खिड़की की तरफ चेहरा करके बैठना है आपका कैमरा उस साइड ले जाओ नहीं अंधेरा आपके चेहरे पे अभी आया अभी लाइट आया ये क्या रेंज है देखो
Okay.
हाँ प्लीज Raj, she is Dolly Sunny, our friend and most dear friend. So I am introducing you on the website itself. But she is a former director of ICSSR, professor of economics, and many other things are there which Kiran will introduce in her.
VC sir has joined, ma'am.
Yeah, VC sir has joined, sir. Yeah. So we welcome everyone. Hello. Hearty welcome to Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Suhas Pednekar, sir, Vice Chancellor of University of Mumbai. In this afternoon session, we have with us Raj Nambiar. He is the head of program administration of Bolton University. He is looking after UK and US projects and collaborations. Thank you, Raj, for joining us. And we have Dolly Sunny, another speaker of the session. Dr. K.S. Bhatti also is there. And all others, all are welcome. Please start the session. Kavita Lalchandani is also there, our dear friend, organizer, and Jitendra Ahirkar is also there, our co-organizer. I welcome everyone and I request our coordinator to join our session and start it. Yes, Kiran, start it. Who is going to start?
I think
Afternoon to one and all. A
Yeah.
very warm and hearty welcome to each one of you. It is my privilege to. Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
you are.
yeah, please go ahead.
It is a moment of pride and honor to welcome our distinguished moderator and panelist of the webinar organized by Department of Law, University of Mumbai, Kishan Chand Chelaram Law College, Child and Women Development Council for the two-day online international conference on changing dimensions in post-COVID-19 socio-legal issues and challenges. Now I would like to request Dr. Jitendra Ahirkar sir, Principal of Amlani College, for a formal welcome address.
Good afternoon, one and all present here. Myself, Dr. Jitendra Ahirkar, Principal, BL Amlani Women's College, Chairman, NCWDC, New Delhi. Would like to welcome Professor Raj Nambiar, Head, Academic Center, University of Bolton, Dubai. Sir, we welcome you. Dr. K.S. Bhati, Professor and Dean, IMS Law College, Noida. Dr. Dolly Sunny, Head, Department of Economics, University of Mumbai. Our own Dr. Suhas Pednekar, Vice Chancellor, University of Mumbai. Dr. Rajeshri Varadi and Dr. Kavita Lalchandani. Over to you, Kavya.
Thank you,
Over
sir.
to you, Kiran ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Now, before introducing our galaxy of eminent, I would like to say few words about our today's moderator. We are fortunate to have Dr. Jitendra Ahirkar sir as a moderator of this panel discussion. Sir is the principal of Amlani College. He is the chairman of NCWDC and Protection of International Institute of Cambridge, UK. Sir is the recipient of the various awards, including Rashtrabhushan from Delhi Excellency Board. Now it is my privilege to introduce and privileged to have with us Mr. Raj Nambiar sir as an esteemed panelist for this session. Sir has an undergraduate degree in physics along with an MBA in marketing besides qualification in non-profit marketing. He heads the Academic Center for the University of Bolton in Ras Al Kham. He is the Director of Administration and has held his position since 2008. Prior to this new role as a director, sir worked for over 20 years in higher education, undertaking teaching, scholarly, and academic developments in the area of business, management, and social marketing. Sir is also leading another major project that is developing links for awards in training and higher education, which is UK based. Sir has extensive experience working with both UK and US universities, and it is the rich expertise that helped him establish the University of Bolton Academic Center in Ras Al Kham. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us. Now I would like to request sir to address this webinar panel. Over to sir.
Many thanks, Ms. Kiran Sharma, for the kind words of introduction. Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. Suhas Pednekar, principals, directors, and other colleagues from education institutions and students. It's a esteemed privilege to be here today. and speaking to this, network of luminaries from the legal profession and from academics at large. It is having, I must say that I do not have any experience working in India because I've left the shores of India a long time back. But having said that, it is so happy to I'm so happy to see developments at the forefront of technology and of social development. I think so, very happy to be part of this initiative. Thank you, Dr. Rajeshri Varhadi and Dr. Kavitra Lalchandani. I've had brief interactions with Dr. Kavita through our last meeting, but it was an interesting exercise that we had when Dr. Rajeshri visited our campus and addressed our students. But this was many moons ago, so happy to be back in circulation and in touch with Dr. Rajeshri. So again, considering the fact that I do not have much experience having worked in India, I would skew this conversation from an international perspective. I have brief experience working with U.S. universities, and but since 2008, I've had the experience of working with University of Bolton, which is located very close to Manchester. Having said that, I look after the campus operations. Do not find the time for teaching anymore, but that used to be very close to my heart. Especially teaching courses in nonprofit management and those kind of things. So I'm happy, and I was told that there were colleagues from Afghanistan and Iraq as well. So I would extend a warm salam alaikum to all of them, and start this conversation. I've left academics some time back, so this would rather than a lecture, this would be a conversation. And feel free to butt in, join in at any juncture. And if there are any questions, please feel free to address the same. The COVID, 2019, obviously pandemic. Universities in general were very reactive and very slow to react at that. And most of us were caught napping, because obviously in January or late in December, the thought was that this was a virus outbreak which would be contained before it hit us hard. But alas, that was a prediction that we all of us got it wrong. So from that point onwards, it was always going to be a struggle against time, against the odds. So we are today in at the second fortnight of May, and obviously governments haven't come to grips with it, let alone educational institutions. A U.S. case study, that comes to mind is very early in March as well. The U.S. at large were, felt that they were in a vacuum in isolation, and this virus would not affect them. But sadly, the virus has taken a toll on the U.S. population and the U.S. at large. And as I was talking to a few universities in the Midwest, which is Michigan, etc., and North Carolina, and their first reaction was, to make sure that the students on campus were safe. So what they did was essentially ask all the students to leave the campus, and from that point on, look at assessing the situation. Uh, Coming back to across the Atlantic and coming back to the UK, when I talked to the University of Bolton, I was invited to be a part of a task force that looked at the COVID situation on a dynamic basis, on almost on a daily basis, uh, and measuring both the US and UK responses to the virus. While I said that the response was largely reactive, proactive measures have been taken since then to address the aftermath of the virus. And in that, students were put at the heart of this discussion. Now, this is something that is very important for all of us to do. Having been in academics, for a better part of 25 years now, I think so. The approach that institutions in the West have, as opposed to institutions in the East, the primary difference is that students are, put at the heart of it, and any decision that is taken is primarily taken from the student standpoint in order to ensure that the students are not disadvantaged in any way. Now, this is a departure from set practices, from regulatory regimes, from obviously, can you imagine if one of you actually said to the UGC and said that, okay, the University of Bolton has decided to do away with all exams. Can you imagine the kind of reception you would find at the apex bodies that look after education? It would be, while you would be trying to create a revolution, the reception, I'm sure, would not be so warm. So the approach to students, that is primarily because most of the programs, most of the degrees look at continuous assessment, and this continuous assessment forms a majority of the assessment on that degree program. So even for mathematical, numerical subjects like engineering, computing, etc., the examination is only a minor point of view. So in today's world, when a CBSE, I know there are two exams to be held on the CBSE, CBSE course. Then you've got examinations being postponed till July and August. There is a lot of uncertainty that rests with the students, and I think so. It is that responsibility that we need to fulfill better. In as we counter the COVID-19 pandemic, and even after that. Now, students are worried about their future. The questions that students ask across the world remain the same. What would a student typically ask? A student who's in the final year of their undergraduate degree program would have the questions of, when is the exam going to be done? When are the results going to happen? When do I graduate? When do I go out into the job market? So these are typical questions that don't change from location to location, but it is the responsibility of educational institutions of today to provide adequate and timely responses to those kind of questions to curb the uncertainty. Because student, when it's a make or break exam at the end of the year, the uncertainty is but obvious, because they don't know what are they preparing for, when is the exam going to happen, and that uncertainty oftentimes puts the students in a disadvantaged position. So again, I'm not preaching to the choir here. I'm only external observer who looks at things from an external standpoint. But having said that, this is an experience that I've had with colleagues who were put tossed from the firing pan, from the frying pan into the fire. The UAE closes doors to educational institutions. That is, both schools and universities were asked to close on the 8th of March. We moved all teaching from the traditional classroom into a virtual classroom. We've had some experience planning for such an eventuality, and we've subscribed to a software called Electa. Now, Electa is a software that allows for video conferencing. It's most universities have taken to Zoom, Blue Jeans, even Microsoft Teams and Google Classrooms in a big way. We've departed from that practice and used Electa. Electa is a software that allows anything that you do in a traditional classroom to be done in a virtual setting. There were large scale objections from the engineering faculty, the computing faculty, coming back to us saying that how do we deal with numerical subjects? And Electa, and the management at Electa were quick to support us in helping us devise mechanisms to deliver the classrooms. And the second part, of the delivery process is, after 1 week, we measured the response from students. And the surprising bit is that students, regardless of where they were from, we've got about 40 nationalities on campus. So we deal with a large scale diversity in terms of the student presence. In terms of faculty as well, we've got about 25 nationalities teaching on campus. So that diversity helped in addressing the fears, allaying the apprehensions of these students. And what transpired was, students came back to us saying that they actually liked the online platform. The attendance, at most of the classrooms was over 90%, even better than the traditional campus operations. So greater interactivity, better attendance, and the elector allows for one-to-one as well as one-to-many. So that allowed for even the personal tutoring, wherein a personal tutor is somebody who's assigned to every student on campus, and this is not an academic who teaches on that student's program or discipline. This is somebody who helps the student, with their with any kind of difficulties in terms of social or economic or financial. So even the personal tutoring system was migrated to the Electa platform. And what we found was, with people losing jobs, people losing, having reduced salaries, etc., the students actually share their problems with the personal tutors. So coming back a whole circle, the teaching experience was better. The interaction with students was much better. The capturing of feedback from the student was much better. And then thereafter, we realized that we were quicker than the UK campus in moving our classes online. So we had to wait for the university, to come back after the Easter break with detailed guidelines on how the assessments would be. The assessments, or the assessment regime was discussed at length with the with the Quality Assurance Agency, which is the UGC in the UK, or the equivalent of the UGC in the UK, and the QAA, the Office of Students, which is another regulatory body that helps universities deal with its students and perform its functions properly, and also provides oversight. So QAA of OFS, Office for Students, both were fully in support with the university's decision of moving all assessments to a non-exam format. Now, the idea was to, regardless of where the student was, because some of the students, mind you, had to leave the UK or the US and go back to their home countries. As you know, the Chinese, the Indian student, the Nigerian student make up for a majority of the students on campus, because the universities had to focus on the fact that international students, the universities in the US or UK for that matter, the international students, oftentimes bring in as much as 30% of the university's revenue. And some of the private universities, or even the public universities for that matter, rely heavily on these international students and the income that it brings in to conduct the affairs of the university. So unlike India, wherein a large part of the university's financing is brought in by grants from the UGC, the UK works on a different concept. So most universities are self-financing. But again, when they're in trouble, they can obviously go back to the government authorities. This has happened in the recent past as well, wherein universities have been bailed out by the government authorities. But in this case, now, after having addressed the first step of the process, wherein ensuring that the students students' needs were addressed, their assessment needs were addressed. Now universities are gradually moving to the second step in the process, which is to look at how to safeguard their incomes, which is to make sure that to assure the students and the parents that they will be open for business as usual in September. But as part of the process, the underlying principle is that to make sure that all the students, all the stakeholders are informed. If it's sometimes it gets very very tedious, as most of you watching the news in today's channels on a daily basis. How long initially in March, when the outbreak came to be with us, everybody would watch news for an hour. But now I don't think so I can bear to watch more than 10 minutes, because there is an element of fatigue. It's the same thing that happens over and over again. My beloved Mumbai is under attack. The hotspots are increasing on a daily basis. It is leads to anxiety. It leads to apprehension. Leads to fear. So so the idea is that all of us who are in responsible positions at universities I think so. The fundamental duty that rests with us is to make sure that we allay the fears and responsibilities. Allay the fears and apprehensions of our students. How do we do that? Obviously, it almost becomes a duty to make sure that we liaise with various sources on behalf of them. These could be local authorities, regional authorities, regulatory authorities, and making sure that their anxiety about exams, their anxiety about what will happen to their careers, etc., etc. We address them in bite-sized informational pieces that we can release on a daily. This I've been consciously doing on a regular basis through WhatsApp, emails, etc., etc. So this will lead to a large scale reposition of confidence in all of us as responsible officers of the university. The second bit is that being part of the task force at the university, students who will go out into the students who scheduled to graduate between now and September, what will be their fate when they go out into industry? And we will say that we are now in the second phase of the COVID pandemic response. The next phase is normalization, wherein infections reduce. The strategies are working. People getting cured are increasing. After normalization comes the growth phase, and we should be ready for the growth phase. So, but nobody can say for sure as to when that growth phase will be upon us. So that brings me back to the question. So a student who graduates in September, when will that student be expected to get a job, right? In the absence of that student being gainfully employed, what happens to the mental well-being of that student? This is again something that I think so we need to keep track about, because we live in a very highly competitive world. We live in a digitized world wherein social media information is at our fingertips. We are inundated with information from different sources. So while we are trying to grapple with the challenges of or not going out, maintaining social distancing, so even corporations are facing the challenge. So in the absence of generating any revenue for a good part of 3 or 4 months, what are the chances they would embark on a business promotional strategy that includes hiring new professionals to come into the workforce? So the chances are extremely unlikely. So how do we support our students? This is something that the University of Bolton has come back to me, and I don't necessarily agree with this strategy, wherein this will be particularly difficult for somebody to do in India. They've come back with a strategy wherein they're developing new game-changing masters programs. And the ultimate objective of these game-changing masters program, and the masters programs are entrepreneurship and innovation, human society, personal career development, in very random, offbeat, areas, with the focus being to make sure that the student is ready, for employment whenever the market opens up. So right now the question is, if the student goes out into the market after receiving his or her degree, chances are they will be frustrated very soon at the lack of jobs. That frustration may lead into some sort of a mental unrest within that student. Obviously, can lead to drop in confidence levels and can ultimately lead to that student being uh, uh, not employable in some cases. So the idea from the UK university is to make sure that okay, they get to do a master's program, and this is typically a departure from the UK's typical position, wherein most master's programs in the UK, apart from an MSc, which is considered a specialized degree, uh, courses like the MBA, or for that matter the MA in some cases, require the students to have work experience. So this work experience at times is a good 3 years after you finish your first undergraduate degree. So, can you imagine a student if the university kept the same kind of requirements, which is after you finish your undergraduate degree, you've got to work for 3 years before you apply for a master's program. These game-changing masters would not fit the purpose. So the idea is they've created an opportunity for students to enroll in the master's program immediately after they finish the undergraduate degree. In the bargain, not wasting any time and making sure that there is the requisite support from the university administration to ensure that they're ready in when that opportunity, when that growth happens, probably a year down the line, right? In India, uh, most apart from the executive MBA positions that are at premier institutions such as the IIMs or the Jamnalal Bajads or the world, most institutions, most students have the mindset that they need to finish whatever they can in one go. The expectation from the parent, the expectation from friends, peers, etc., is that let us finish all that we can in one go rather than take a pause, take a break, look at what is available in the market, look at internships, look at placement opportunities, get some valuable work experience under our belt, and then look at the master's program. Because the belief in the West is that if you go after a master's program, pursue a master's program after you gain that valuable work experience, the retention of knowledge, the ability to reflect critically on concepts taught on the master's program is that much more better. But again, in our case, I think so that is not fully understood by our students. And the fact that our entry regulations for most of the master's program is okay, you may have an entrance exam that determines your eligibility, but other than that, you can come onto the most of the master's programs without work experience. Lends to the fact that now like India, by the same token, we may be in a better position to keep our students at university. So students who are finishing the undergraduate degree, may decide to stay on and do a master's program. We may require to increase the number of seats in this time, but again, I think so. I don't know how many of you would agree with me. There is that collective responsibility that we provide that support after the student has left our roles, after the student has graduated. It is not in the form of a courtesy alumni gathering at the end of a year or whatever. It is about bringing all of them together in probably a virtual format wherein any student who requiring the support can rally on the institution that they graduated from, their alma mater, or for that matter, the group of friends that they've made, the group of some maybe seniors, some maybe juniors. So bringing all of them together, getting a sense of family, getting a sense of fraternity, and then moving together, wherein each one is available to help each other. This is probably the hallmark of most alumni networks in the West that I've seen. And I think just with the advent of WhatsApp, etc., these are social gatherings, get-togethers, etc., are part of the Indian landscape. I was part of my school's gathering, the school that I finished the 10th standard from about 2 years back, and that was a welcome change from otherwise finding it impossible to getting in touch with your friends, and your school colleagues. So it was a welcome departure, and a very very healthy exercise at that, being able to connect to your grassroots friends. So having said that, I think so I've spoken for too long. These are some of the examples, some of the case studies that I thought I should share with you. And on that note, I think so I should not take the time of other speakers today. I'll cut short my brief presentation. Hope you found something that was useful from my brief discourse. Thank you very much for listening.
Kiran madam is unmute.
Hello,
Yeah, Kiran madam is not hearing.
Kiran is on mute.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, sir, for your thought-provoking and innovative speech, extensive experiences which you shared with us. It is very true, sir. It is our collective responsibility to help guide to each other in this COVID-19 era, not only in this era, but every time in our life. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today.
We also thank Honorable Dr. Suhas Pednekar, sir, for joining us once again in this session. Thank you, sir. I think both of you are having,
Thank you.
so you can.
Thank you very much. Yeah. So I have another assignment. Thank
Yeah.
you and all the best.
Yeah.
Sir, thank you so very much. Please
Yeah.
accept our deepest thanks and appreciation for being with us in this session and gracing the occasion with your
Thank you.
esteemed presence.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. All the best.
And also thankful to Nambiar sir for wonderful and thought-provoking speech, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Raj. Yeah. Even it's long, but given wider view, no?
But we never realized it was long.
Education. Education, yeah. It was so interesting. We think that it should go on and go on and go on. But I think Raj is also very busy today, stuck up with many meetings. So, Raj, we allow you to leave the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.
Yes,
We
Kiran.
are, thank you so much, ma'am. We are extremely delighted with the presence of Dr. K.S. Bhattis, sir. He is a professor and dean, IMS Law College, Noida, New Delhi. Sir is currently professor and dean, IMS Law College. Sir, LLM specialization is in environmental law, and he also holds a PhD degree on labor laws. He was the legal director in the Institute of Company Secretariats of India. Sir was the registrar at Indian Law Institute for 12 years, a guest lecturer at Delhi University, and also taught LLM at MP Bhojpur University. Sir was the legal specialist at International Bar Association London and Law Society at Zimbabwe, Harare, and was on the board of Indian Social Institute for 3 years and was also a member of their editorial committee of journal Legal News and Views. He has also participated practiced at Supreme Court and Delhi High Court for 15 years. He is a member of Vivid Bharati Journal on EC. Sir, we are really lucky to have you with us. Now, I would like to request Sir to please address this panel session.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Kiran Sharma ji. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, all honorable distinguished members of the panel, the moderators, I take the first opportunity to thank Dr. Kavita Lalchandani ji, who made it possible for me to be part of this international conference today. I compliment the both institutions, the University of Bombay and the KC Law College, for organizing such a mammoth conference on a very, very wide range of subjects with lot many distinguished speakers and vice chancellors. And it has been very, very thought-provoking, very knowledge-sharing. So indeed, I am grateful to it. I represent the IMS Law College, which is one of the leading colleges in the NCR, Delhi, and it is being run by a non-profit organization headed by a couple. They are educationists and devoted to the charitable purposes, Mr. Rajiv Gupta and Mr. Shilpi Gupta. And we have got excellent faculty, excellent results. We have produced the toppers of the university also. And in addition to academic classes, we are also having a PIL center, we are having a legal aid center, we are having a RTI club also, which we motivate the students to participate in these things and to lead. And our mooting also has been all India level mooting takes place, memorial writing and judgment writing and everything. Here, I was talking to Dr. Kavita that what would be the subject of the panel discussion. Then, as she said to Dr. Raj Nambiar, similarly, my subject of the discussion presentation would be today the COVID-19 and the impact on the migrant labor. I did my PhD in labor law, so this subject is very close to my heart. And due to the sudden eruption of the coronavirus in the country, the most suffering classes have been the workers of the country, particularly the workers of the unorganized sector, which constitute the 70% of the workforce in India. About 10 crores plus workers are engaged in the migrant workers form. What is a migrant worker? I would like to just explain that it is a skilled worker as compared to the non-skilled worker, and that's why the employers, they prefer from one state to another state to utilize their skill. A law, particularly in 79, was enacted about Indian migrant uh, workers, a regulation of employment and conditions of service act 1979, which provided the mechanism how the migrant labor will have to be looked after by the employers. Three segments were there. The employer has to look after, the contractor has to look after, the government has to look after the migrant workers. Whosoever employs more than five contract, more than for five migrant workers, the contract is obliged to pay them more than minimum wages what they are entitled to while they work outside of their hometown. And similarly, their travel expenses are to be borne by the contractor, their housing is to be looked after by the contractor, their health care is also to be provided, looked after by, their fooding is also to be looked after, even including the journey. And the government has also to, the principal employer also to see that the wages are paid and it is supervised, and like governments have also to maintain the registration officer, the licensing officer. All data relating to the migrant workers are to be maintained by the contractor, by the principal employer, by the governments. Unfortunately, as has been the fate of all the labor laws in the country, the least care has been taken for the implementation of the laws. So there are many on the statute book, but the implementation has been very poor. Resultantly, what has happened is suddenly the eruption of the COVID-19 took place, and the Honorable Prime Minister had no choice but to declare the lockout suddenly, and lakhs workers, they were, all factories were closed, all employments closed, all institutions were closed, even the teachers were affected in the education institutions because suddenly the lockdown made them also unemployed, and the salaries were also stuck up. They have also not been paid for months, and the similar has been the fate of the migrant workers. The landlords who were housing them, they also asked for the money and they also ousted them, and thousands of workers, they all jumbled at the borders of the states, and unfortunately the borders also locked up. The one state didn't allow the workers of the other state to enter into, so that the virus doesn't spread over. The sufferings undergone by the migrant workers by the explosion of the coronavirus has been inhuman sufferings. People have walked for miles together, hundreds and thousands miles together, without food, without any shelter, without any care. They are going and going on. There is no transport. Railways are stopped, and road transport is stopped. Everything. It has been a real disaster under the disaster management act. Nevertheless, what has happened has happened, and today also the migrant workers are suffering. And I can say today, one article I saw in Mail today, one Magrand Pranjape has written that the migrant workers are the real heroes of the COVID-19. How they have surfaced the problem. Nevertheless, what has happened, I do not know. Madam Kiran Sharma will tell me how much time is available to me to talk over the issue. How much time I shall take.
Sir, you can carry on 10 to 15 minutes. Sir, please carry on. Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Sir, please, sir, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
So whatever has been the plight of the migrant workers, whatever has been plight of the employed, even people in organized sector, government suspended the PF contribution for 3 months, and like. But here also in the unorganized sector, government has came with some solutions. For 2 months, the workers will be given food free. Ration card will be on the all India level basis, and 20 lakhs crores of the package has been announced by the Honorable Finance Minister of the country for that. What I say that the country as such has failed to look after the interest of the migrant workers. While we organize the Kumbh Melas, while we organize the other pujas, while we organize other festivities, special trains are placed for the use of the travelers. Special arrangements are to be made. Special camps, even in North India, there is a festival called Kaman. People go to Hardwar on foot. There, the voluntary organizations, the people also, they put up the camps, they put up the food stalls, they put up everything. But here, when lakhs of people were walking on the roads, whether it is in Tamil Nadu, whether it is in Gujarat, whether it is in Chennai, whether it is in Delhi, everywhere they have suffered. And no health care, no shelter, no water, no food, no hygiene, nothing. Even the child of 3 years had to walk down for miles together. Nevertheless, what has happened. Now, how to restore the good to the workers, that is our concern. What I visualize, that the workers are going back to home, they don't have any work to work for. 2 months only they will be provided food, they will be provided a free ration card. But this is the nature of the human being to involve himself in the work. If a person cannot work, he cannot idle away the time. The first priority of the country is that the workers, those who are migrating to their homes now, they must be provided with the work. They have got the skill in that. The entrepreneur or small scale entrepreneurs or medium level entrepreneurs, they should set up the work where they had skill to use, so that they can utilize their man hours. They are not sitting idle, they are not going to astray. Otherwise, if they don't work, they'll be idle. They can even go even to the extent of committing some kinds of crime. So first priority has to rehabilitate them. They not only need the food, they also need the work to be busy with. So first priority of the governments, first priority of the voluntary sector, first priority of the NGOs, first priority of the socially oriented people, that the workers, those who are going back to home, they should be employed with some kind of work, whether for small wages or. This is very, very, very sad that even the relief from the Honorable Supreme Court has also not come forward. When Alak Alok Shrivastava filed a writ petition in the Honorable Supreme Court that they should be looked after, direction should be given to the government, the Honorable Supreme Court also raised his hand and he said, if we issue any directions, then it will interfere in the running of the administration by the government.
Audible.
They did not come to the rescue of the migrant workers. Nevertheless, what we have now to plan that these workers should be provided with a life which is providing them some kind of employment, which is providing them some kind of passing the time. I also say the money to be given to them is not sufficient. Money to be given to them. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this has disappeared from my screen. So nevertheless, I have come back. The second thing is not money is only required to be given to them, but they have to be given some kind of shelter also. Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, they have already announced that some houses will be built by them, and they will be rented out to them. It's a good thing they have thought of. In the case of government institutions or educational institutions or voluntary organizations, it is the duty of the whole society to look after the migrated workers. Now they are really destituted, and they are to be looked after. The healthcare system has also to be strengthened. In the villages, there is no hospital, there is no dispensary, there is no doctor, and these people, those who have walked miles and miles together, and otherwise also in the normal, and in the pandemic also, in the pandemic also, whether the tests will have to be carried out, whether the treatment has to be given, whether quarantine has to be done, some kind of healthcare system must be established for the sake of these workers. Voluntary people, the conscientious people, philanthropic minded people, they should also come forward to rehabilitate these workers. They should come, they should organize some kind of activity for them. As we know that in the Gujarat, Lijjat Papad Udyog came up, and lot many women, they were employed in that. And likewise, the people, those who are generous, people, those who are charitable, they should also come forward, and that they should look after these migrant workers. They should not be allowed to die. It was very, the Makrand Paranjape has written, when he was interviewing some migrant workers, he said that they interviewed to him that we will prefer to die by corona rather than by dying starving on the roads. That was the situation here, what was faced by the migrant workers. And here is still the situation is not under control. We do not know when the lockdown will be lifted. We are told that we have to live with the corona forever. And yes, if we have to live with the corona, like we have lived with the smallpox, like we have lived with the cancer, like we have lived with the malaria, like we have lived with the tuberculosis, we the country is ready to live with it. But the people, those who are oppressed one, those who are depressed one, those who are deprived one, they must be taken care, not only by the central government, by the state governments also. What a pitiful stand has been taken in the matter of when the thousand buses were provided to transport the workers from Delhi to UP, and then the both governments, the political parties, they interfered. They did not allow any bus to be used because license is not proper, license expired, that the number is wrong. Like thousand buses are standing, and people were made to walk again, and those buses are lying idle. So the administrative efficiency, administrative care, the human approach, the human rights, the civic right, right to life, right to liberty, the constitutional mandate, everything has been, of course, in these peculiar circumstances of sudden outbreak of the COVID-19, everything has been thrown to winds, everything has gone topsy-turvy, and the government has taken whatever measures have been taken, they have been better result oriented, because whether we believe in the God, that God is with us, God is with us, that in the whole world, while the America has stopped in the casualties, we are still at the lower stage, we are still at the stage, and now the some self confidence in the people of India has also started developing. So friends, I wish to only express my opinion that all those who can help out the poor workers, they must come out. Regarding the morning session, I had the opportunity to hear the guests on the matter, or the government proposal also to open 100 universities online. We are all engaged in the legal education system. We are using the technology on the Zoom. We are conducting, even we have conducted an internal examination also of the law students. We have conducted the other competitions also, debate competition, moot court competition, or memorial judgment writing competition also very successfully. And we find that the students were not very alert or present in the physical classes, but now on the Zoom sessions, they are very alert, they are asking questions, and they are, and more so, they are also getting the opportunity to have the discourses by the eminent people from the Vice Chancellor, from the Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court, which is not possible in the physical classes. So I would definitely feel and urge upon to for the consideration of the universities and the Bar Council of India and other legal bodies that online LLB degree of 3 years or 5 years, whatever, it is the high time that the online legal education is also commenced in order to keep with the coping with the new style. New now the Honorable Supreme Court already virtual court has been established. Honorable Chief Justice of India, Sharad Arvind Bobde, he has inaugurated day before. At all matters in the Supreme Court, all the 24 hours e-filing will be permitted, and all matters right from filing of the petition, filing of the pleadings and arguments and the cross examinations and everything will have to be filed through the electronic media, and the judgment should also be delivered. So I hope the plethora of pending cases, pendency of in the court, that will also stand some resolution of this problem. So before I conclude, I again wish to urge upon all people, those who are in the society, to take and to be sympathetic and concerned with the plight of the migrant labor and help out whatever way they can help out. The domestic workers are not coming in the families, the helpers are not coming in the families, drivers are not coming in the families. Wherever we can extend whatever voluntary help we can extend to them, we should come forward in this pandemic duration. And finally, I conclude with my heartiest gratitude and thanks to Dr. Kavita Lalchandani and other distinguished organizers for organizing this very, very effective, and the first, I think it should be the maiden international seminar on the web by any institution here. So I compliment for this also, and I wish all the great success to this conference on the international level. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my views. Thank you, thank you.
So much, sir, for enlightening us on various issues of the migrant workers. No doubt they are the worst affected people in this COVID-19 era. As a human being, this is our duty to help them out. Is very true, sir. Sir, you gave us a very positive energy to handle COVID-19. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
We are fortunate to have Dr. Dolly Sunny Madam with us today. She is professor at Department of Economics, University of Mumbai. She is the chairman, Board of Studies, Economics and member, Academic Council, and the former director of ICSSR Western Region Center. Madam is the recipient of various awards, including Best Teachers Award from University of Mumbai in 2011 and 12, Best Teacher Award, Adarsh Shiksha Puraskar of the state of Maharashtra in 2012 and 13. Madam is awarded for the best presentation for the paper presented at Toronto, Canada. She has authored 12 books, edited 2 books, and published many books, not only in India but abroad. Madam has published more than 100 papers in the reputed journals. She has attended many conferences. She has delivered many lectures in the various conferences, seminars, etc. 13 students completed PhD and 8 are pursuing PhD under Madam. Madam is an expert for the Child Rights Commission of Government of Maharashtra and His Excellency President of India and UGC nominee under various capacities in different universities. Thank you, Madam, for being with us. We are honored with your gracious presence. Thank you so much, ma'am, and over to you.
We welcome Dolly Sunny Madam.
Thank you very much for such elaborate welcome, and also for the pleasant voice of my friend, Dr. Rajeshri. All the organizers of the conference, Dr. Rajeshri, who is HOD of Law, and Dr. Kavita, who is principal of KC College, and Dr. Jitendra, who is principal of Amlani College, and also now the chairman of WDC, and all the panelists and students as well as other faculty members and other friends. Thank you all for giving me an opportunity to be present before you to share my views in this regard. As you are aware, each nation is different in its own diverse roles. We have different demographic setup, economic resources are different, per capita, GDP, purchasing power parity, all these are different for different countries of the world. And again, we are categorized into middle income and lower income countries. If we take into consideration of the share of total population which comes under high income group, 12% of the population belongs to such countries and 68% of the world income are their share. Now, if we consider the low income countries which include our country, India, 1% of the global share that belongs to us, whereas the total population, it constitutes 18.5%. So we can imagine the huge disparity in the assets distribution as well as in the demographic profile. But in spite of all that, in one matter, we all united together. All of us are ever united. Ever since the advent of COVID-19, irrespective of all the differences, all world countries are fighting together to overcome the difficulties. As far as the adverse impact of COVID-19 is concerned, we can see that USA, UK, Italy, such countries are worst affected, and countries like India, according to WHO report, is not that much adversely affected. So if we just consider the statistics, 1,70,021 are the morbidity cases in India. These many are categorized as sick now, and 3,303 are the deaths which we had to confront in our country. If we consider the total number till the time this webinar is organized, I just put in effort to check it. Total affected all over the world, it corresponds to 50 lakhs 2,247. And overall mortality, it constitutes 3,25,172. So this is the world death rate. So from these figures, we can understand, though we come under the category of low income countries, of course, our authorities and the present government took very bold step in declaring lockdown and in coming out with several measures. As a result, we could minimize our morbidity rate and mortality rate. Of course, we have to be thankful to the people of India as a whole for wholeheartedly adhering to all rules and regulations. So though the death rate and mortality, the morbidity rates are low for us, comparatively low for us, it doesn't mean that we are not suffering the economic setback. Of course, if we take into consideration of the prices of pulses, then the food grains as well as the vegetables, at least 25 to 30% increase in prices we experience. Some of the days we don't come across the vegetables which we want. We don't get out every day. Now at present we cannot enjoy, we cannot even drive our own vehicle. And as Bhatti sir stated earlier, we cannot have the services of driver. So in such a scenario, we have to go and we have to literally search for the vegetables, pulses, etc. But everywhere it is not available. Every day it is not available. That is what I came to know from the fellow friends. So you might have heard about Great Bengal famine of 1942. My grandfather, during my childhood, he narrated many stories about the Great Bengal famine of 1942. So, in this regard, one celebrated Nobel laureate, Dr. Amartya Sen, he opined that Bengal famine it was man-made. He criticized that if the government would have taken adequate measures, such famines would not have happened. And this view of Dr. Amartya Sen, it was even approved, very well approved by several historians. So by looking at the shortage of food grains, pulses and vegetables, one doubt which comes to my mind is, are we heading towards a famine? And in the same way, this corona imposed famine and the shortage of the essentials as well as the hiking prices, whether it is heading us towards a great depression. We have we came across 1920s Great Depression, so whether we are going to face 2020s Great Depression. Now, again, in this regard, actually, if we make other observations, this is about agriculture. Professor Rajeshri told me that basically concentrating upon two aspects I have to speak, any two aspects, and she told me about the limited availability of time also. So I formed this, discourse based on that. So now, if we take into consideration of rest of the movements which are happening in other sectors, travel sector as a whole adversely affected, transport sector, of course, you know what has happened. We cannot go and attend the conference by flight or by train. That is why we are sitting at our home and we take part in this webinar kind of conference. Again, the small scale industries are affected. Industries as a whole are affected. Investments came down. The stock markets crashed. The most rich of the world, they became comparatively poor. So such reports we come across in the e-view of the e-version of the newspapers. And the daily workers' plight already so had spoken here. In India, as we all are aware, the dichotomy exists in the case of the daily workers also. Some belong to, some are very poor, some are better off. And in the labor force as a whole, we can see the dichotomy exists. Some belong to formal sector, some belongs to informal sector. So 42 million people, they come under the informal sector, the underprivileged category, I would say. Niti Aayog, according to the estimates of Niti Aayog, 85% of the Indian workers, they are under informal category. They all became jobless and they are having miserable life now. So by taking into consideration of all these aspects, certain suggestions, few suggestions I would like to put forth. Since we have to assign high priority for the essentials, agricultural sector should get maximum priority. Government will have to provide several assistance for supporting the farmers. Even we also should contribute in our own small measures by arranging balcony farming. I would like to share that I grow curry leaves and then methi leaves and also some ginger cultivation. All these on my balcony. So these days, no need to demand, no need to purchase curry leaves from the market. We pluck it from home and we utilize that. So we all should contribute in this regard. Actively, we have to contribute. Then our state, Maharashtra, is the pioneer in the cooperative movement and self-help group activities. Of course, I have heard that Dr. Jitendra's college, the women, the girl children, they are not women, they are girls. They are girls, they are very active in arranging such kind of activities. Once he made me share such thing. Of course, it doesn't mean, since I spoke about Dr. Jitendra, it doesn't mean I'm very well aware of Dr. Kavita and Dr. Kiran, everyone who is present over here. So the cooperative movement and self-help activities will have to be improved, and also the startup ventures. Now, if we take into consideration of the new entrants in the labor market, several youth, they are going to actively search for job. So it is a duty to encourage forming the startup ventures. And already we mentioned about the daily workers and even the migrant workers and their problem. In this regard, in future, in the coming future, we are going to face shortage with regard to the labor force. So one problem to overcome, in order to overcome such problem, one fruitful suggestion is to encourage the youth to learn 3D printing and the softwares related to that, so that let companies switch over to 3D printing mode and let our youth be equipped to take up such measures. It requires a lot of expertise, practice, and huge investment also. But slowly and steadily, we should go forward for 3D manufacturing sector as a whole. Then the consumption pattern, if I mention about that, we should ensure that not even a single grain is wasted. So we have to limit our consumption by avoiding all wastages. Then investment will have to be promoted, and we have to take extreme care in minimizing the health complications. We should ensure that there is an intake of balanced food, and there should be daily regular exercises. Several such measures are there. Of course, we received several tips about it. I don't want to elaborate on that. Government should revamp the fiscal policy. So several such other measures are there. Due to paucity of time, I feel I have to put an end to my talk. So thank you very much once again for this opportunity.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam, for a wonderful and for very informative speech. We will be definitely benefited from your speech, ma'am, and we got a very good ideas and new ideas. Actually, we were not aware about it. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
So would you permit me to get out now, or anything else is?
You may wait, or if you have any other meeting, then you may leave. It's up to you.
Yes. Thank you very much.
We are honored with the gracious presence of Varadi madam. We always say Varadi ma'am, actually Dr. Rajeshri Varadi ma'am. I feel privileged to introduce Miss Rajeshri Varadi madam. She is presently Professor and Head Department of Law, University of Mumbai, and Madam is the member of various committees of the University of Mumbai and other universities, including Member Executive Council of the National Law University, Visakhapatnam, Member Research and Recognition Committee, University, SNDT University, Mumbai, Member Academic Council and RRC in other university, and chairperson including SNDT University. Madam, actually CV runs into pages, but I'm taking just few highlight over here. Madam is the guide in various universities, including University of Mumbai, Pune, JJTU. 6 students have been awarded PhD degree under ma'am's guidance. She was a former in charge director, University, Mumbai Law Academy, and First Lady Warden, Kama Girls Hostel, Marine Drives, Mumbai. She is a she is a former member of Maharashtra State of Consumer Commission. She has published many international, national research papers in the reputed journals, edited many books, and also she is a co-author of many books. She has participated in more than 100 national seminars and has organized more than 50 seminars and workshops. Madam, we are really lucky to have you with us. A very smiling face every time.
Thank you,
So
Dr.
much,
Keith
ma'am,
Verma,
over to you.
for giving such a long introduction. It was not required also, but thank you very much. Uh, my dear colleague, Dr. Kavita Lal Chandani, Dr. Bindu Variya, and all other participants from abroad and India. Friends, as everyone is aware, at global level now only everyone is talking about COVID-19. As I say in the morning in inaugural session, in December 2019, first COVID patient was detected in Wuhan, China. And thereafter, slowly, it started spreading all over the world. And now many nations are affected. By looking at this scenario, we only think, Kavita, myself, Jitendra, that we should organize one international conference and have deliberations on various topics. Various themes are there of our seminar, which includes problems of migrant workers, crimes, then education, and many other important aspects. State government center relationship, that is also there. I wish to just summarize few of the points which I think we must discuss here. As it has spreaded, and just now only Dolly has given total figures of deaths at international level in full world, how many deaths are taken place and how many people are taking treatment. In India, even though death rate is not that much, only it is 3,000 around. But then also it has spreaded, and whatever we have observed around us, we feel very much disturbed, any human being. When lockdown was declared by the Prime Minister for the first time, everyone feels how to lock ourselves in house. And now almost fourth lockdown is declared, and now at least we have adjusted ourselves with the situation, and everyone is taking care that we should not go out. If we go out, then we have to wear mask, and we have to maintain physical distance. We should not organize any social gatherings. Sanitizer should be used time to time. These all things almost I think many people have learned now after this 3 months. Everyone is facing COVID-19 situation. And yesterday only it was declared on television, TV channel, that America has addressed us that vaccine of COVID, they find it out. I hope it should work out and let all people should get the benefit of this vaccine. And very soon we should cover up this COVID-19 situation and control the spread of virus corona. Friends, as this problem starts, it resulted into displacement, people who are not working, unemployment, because employers, because lockdown of industries, lockdown of schools, colleges, lockdown of railways, buses, flights. It resulted into unemployment of many people. The people are not moving around. It affects our economy, of course. And that's why people who do not have their house, who are migrant workers. They are thinking that now I cannot get job here, and that's why they are trying to shift from one city to another city. They wish to go back to their hometown, and it has resulted into a chaos. But government has taken immediate steps. Government of India has organized buses, special railways are kept so that these migrant workers should go back to their hometown. Free food was given to these migrant workers as well as poor people who are unable to earn and who do not have any house or shelter. Shelter homes are created for such people who do not have house. Temporary shelter home, temporary corona patient care centers are already established, and work is going on to establish more number of such kind of centers should be established. These all works are going on simultaneously. This all resulted in demand for more hospitals. So even corporates raise their hands and they support government and immediately shown their interest to start special COVID hospitals which gives treatment to only COVID patients. New hospitals construction is immediately started with a modern technology which can give treatment to many more patients at a time. Then in medicines are required in this scenario, so manufacturers have started manufacturing some of the medicines. Then as a mask are there, production of mask is going on, sanitizers are going on. So one side we have observed that many people lost their jobs, but one side, some other industry started taking up turn, and because of new demand, some new manufacturing is going on, and where many people can be accommodated and get their jobs. One should not feel nervous. I think we should look out this situation with a positive view. We have to prepare our minds to face situation when in post COVID-19 again when lockdown will be lifted and we have to go back to our office. Everything will start, railways, buses, flights, and again people will start moving here and there, but with conditions that they have to maintain all those medical precautions. They have to use sanitizer, they have to use mask, they have to maintain physical distance. In this way, people can control coronavirus spread and surely they will observe. But in post COVID-19, many challenges we have to face as universities. In education sector, many challenges are there. This time, we could not conduct our exams and government is seriously thinking about it, what kind of process we have to observe. And that's why now in education sector we have to apply modern technology for coming semester when new admissions we will give. We will think of online admissions only, as Raj says, instead of uh, regular classroom we will shift ourselves to virtual classrooms so that many people we can give education. Technology, many teachers have to update their knowledge with modern softwares. They have to train themselves. They must complete their training of they cannot say that I don't know this, because as we have to reach up to the unreached, and that's why if we have to reach up to our students then we have to update our knowledge and give special lectures online. That is why we have already started online classes and online seminars. All of you are part of this online webinar. Because of this online webinar today, our friends from Afghanistan and Iraq They have joined us and they are watching us here live. That's a great thing, I think. Our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji always addressed us. Time to time, he gives us updates about what government is thinking and what new policies are introduced to fight with corona. With all these supports, we can get success to fight with corona. I'm sure. Best wishes to everyone. I pray God that we should never face such lockdown situation again and no more virus spread. We should control this virus and henceforth full world has got realization how to take care of such kind of viruses, and they will try to introduce this vaccine which will reach up to all masses, even grassroots level masses. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kavita. Thank you, Kiran. And
Thank you so
we have to control it at 3:30. We have another session. That's why briefly I pointed out the important points. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the precautionary measures and useful suggestions. We are glad to have amidst us Dr. Kavita Lal Chandani, Madam, Principal of KC Law College, as an eminent panelist today. She has teaching experience of more than 30 years and 5 years of advocacy practice. Madam is the recipient of various awards like Dr. Radhakrishnan Memorial Award for the Best Educationist by International Human Rights Council at Mumbai and Rashtriya Mahila Gaurav Samman in the field of education by AKP News at Delhi. Madam is the member of the various committee including Mumbai District Legal Services Authority. She is recognized PhD guide in the subject of law with the University of Mumbai and JZ Tibarwala University, Rajasthan. She is recognized PG teacher in the University of Mumbai and SMBT. She was the former principal of GJ Advani Law College, Bandra, Mumbai since June 24, 2010 till November 2018. Madam has been invited as a resource person at international, national, state seminar conferences, published many papers in the peer-reviewed journals in national and international. Madam has participated, presented many papers in conferences. CV runs into pages, but there is a paucity of time. I would like to, we are really thankful to you, ma'am, for having you with us. And I would like to invite you, ma'am, to address this webinar of panel discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Kiran. Dear friend, Dr. Rashri Varari, Madam, Head Department of Law, University of Mumbai. My faculties, Dr. Kiran, Vice Principal, Dr. Bindu Variats, and faculties from Department of Law, students from KC Law College and from department, and dear participants of this online conference. As Madam has very beautifully covered the entire aspect of related to this post-COVID situation and the challenges what we are facing and the issues what we are, how to, resolve the issues, as it was mentioned in the morning also, that we need to learn now how to convert the challenges into opportunities. And that's how I think Madam has explained it beautifully, like how we have to convert this into our opportunities. As we all know, I would not talk more on now this COVID part, the virus and the problems what we are facing. And because of course, the paucity of time, I will just immediately jump into the online education in our higher education system. I would like just to mention that in India, our society is marked with variable of socio-cultural, linguistic diversities, different ideologies and opinions, and therefore the importance and significance of higher education are always eyed in contrast by a varied class of people. And we know, however, the question is still not answered, that what tickles in the mind of the people, that what is the future of our higher education in India, as it was mentioned in previous session also, that the students of our country are moving to the other country. So we need to work collectively so that we can get the students in our country, and also we can boost our economy. And as it was mentioned earlier in previous session, that if we talk about the rich heritage culture of our country, where we had our oldest centers of higher education. I think perhaps the world's oldest center of higher education were the ancient Indian universities of Nalanda, Takshila, Ujjain, and Vikramshila, where art, architecture, painting, logic, mathematics, grammar, astronomy, literature, and Arthashastra, all things were taught there on the basis of ancient Hindu scriptures like the Vedas and Upanishads. So is now coming back to the current situation, what post-COVID we are facing for this higher education system is, as we all are aware of, that because of the social distancing norm and during the period of lockdown, we all are locked at our own respective places. But still, I feel happy that Mumbai and of course in other states and in our country, and not only in our country, even of course in other this nations also have started the online teaching, so that the students are not in loss. Because if we stop our education system during the period of lockdown, then almost 100 million students are going to get affected with this. So this is a welcome step that everyone, all of us, all the stakeholders related to the education sector has come forward to take the things in their hand and starting doing the online teaching learning process. As we know about the post-COVID situation, we know we all are facing actually the COVID, the current situation of pandemic, posing enormous challenges in the higher education in the time to come. And therefore, it is required to transform the education system and convert challenges into opportunity. And the paradigm shift from conventional teaching learning pedagogy to modern pedagogy is certainly will be an inevitable part of our education system. So without more things I wanted to discuss, but just quickly I would like to suggest few things which in future we all need to think about. That as we all know now that the online blended and flipped teaching learning process is an inevitable part and very important ingredient in our teaching process, and it should be a part of our education system. As it was also mentioned in that guideline given by our University Grant Commission, that 25% of teaching should be online. And I hope that by the coming next academic year, that is 2020 to 2021, we all will be able to cater the needs of the students and provide the online teaching. The higher education in India needs to provide a curriculum which should be skill-based and should provide students with an opportunity of internship, field projects, live projects, career counseling, and placements. So that, as it was mentioned by earlier speaker, that once they move to the market after finishing their degree, then they are really mentally depressed. They are totally social unrest is there. So for that, we should impart the skill-based education to our students, and compulsory student exchange program should be implemented, and the program also need to be added in the credit-based system, as it was also mentioned by our previous speaker. The university should consider, or may consider rather, to introduce short, innovative, vocational and non-vocational courses for the students, which again will be very beneficial for the students. And the university and colleges should mandatorily tie up with the foreign universities, research laboratories, corporates, private organizations, NGOs, which will help them to generate linkage and improve them for their better quality and collaborative research process. The government should also work to provide ICT facilities to the universities and colleges to conduct online lectures as per the new recommendation of the UGC to develop India as a digital nation or become a prosperous partner in global development. India has to strengthen its technology. And as we know, the teaching faculty is the backbone of any educational institution. the teachers to be trained to use this digital technology in this teaching learning process. And the another last one more part I would like to say, the involvement of alumni in the college activities and for any other suggestions relating to the should be encouraged and should be helpful in the growth of any institution. And another one more biggest challenge, just very quickly, I will just mention here in 2 minutes. The another biggest challenge which we are going to face about the mobility of the students after this lockdown is lifted. I believe as we know that students are now not only in outside country, even in India also they prefer to go from one place to another. Now that also will be a biggest challenge, that they will think before changing, moving from their hometown to some other place of which better for getting better education. And for that, I think we need to think about as an institution, as an academician, that once the lockdown is lifted and we start moving to our offices, we should follow the social distancing norm, and we should maintain the distance, and we should take care of the safety and security of not only of our staff, teaching and not teaching staff, but also of our students, so that we all can have a safe and healthy environment in the future to come. And I think we all, as it is said earlier also, that if we all are working together, as it was mentioned by Vice Chancellor Sir, that we have to come together and work together, then only the progress of the nation is possible. So I think we all are together and we will work together. Naturally, I feel that we will be having the growth of the nation certainly, and we will come out from this situation of this COVID-19 what we are facing right now. Thank you.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, madam, for a wonderful and innovative speech. Thank you so much. Now I would like to request Dr. Rajashree Varadi ma'am to summarize the session, please.
I think other students are waiting, and I am receiving here everyone's message. So we should end up. I think everyone at every time we say we have presented vote of thanks. So almost many points are covered, which were required to be on the basis of themes of the conference. And I appreciate presence of Hamida from Afghanistan. Thank you, Hamida, for gracing the occasion. And I hope you are joining technical session 4, where Dr. Balaji Kendre is there. Thank you, Hamida. And thanks, everyone. It was a wonderful session and very interesting topic. Actually, every speaker need more time to address, but because of these so many participants and continuous sessions, this first day is hectic, but we have to just close the session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Kavita, for your thought-provoking speech.
Madam, after you only I spoke, so nothing actually for me.
My special thanks to our Dolly Sunny madam also. She has given us data and elaborate the situation and given us some solutions. Thank you, everyone. And Mr. Rathi is there. So thank you, everyone. We will close this session and immediately.
Immediately we'll start with ma'am technical session.
Yeah. Thank you. We will leave this session. Kavita, we should continue. One session is here only. So whether session Smita Shukla madam is waiting. Session 2 is here.
Madam, I am unable to hear.
Session 2 is here.
Session.
We have to log in from the ID, so we'll start it. We'll end this session right now.
Okay.
Yes. End this.
Meghna, there is some issue for technical session 3. Please check and get back to me.
Yes, ma'am. Sure. Just 1 minute. I'm doing that only.
Purva has created, madam.